Southern Coin Hunter is like, I'm just doing some hurricane prep. It's no big deal.
Well, he's a tough guy. What's up, everybody?
They had something spinning down in the near Mexico that was supposed to hit, or at least be up by Central Texas or off the coast of Corpus Christi by tomorrow evening, I think. But that was this morning.
Was it swirling clockwise or counterclockwise? Like a toilet, right? Yeah. Like if you were in the southern hemisphere, it spins a certain way. Mm-hmm. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it spins the other way.
I think this one was moving counterclockwise.
So that might be dangerous. Well, just be careful, Southern Coin Hunter, or anybody that's down in that area.
Photos or it never happened.
Right?
Yeah, last check, it was just a tropical storm. So.
Hello, everybody. Doing a panel of experts who is a little late according to my clock, says Ida. Sorry, Ida. Paula's not here, and I had trouble finding the button, so it took us a second. I know. Leave it to yeah. So I was going to say, let's say hello to the people I haven't tagged so far, but I saw Daniel Baker come in. What's up? Legs.
2242.
Potes. Eric. Let's see. Ant came in. Joe McBride.
Hi.
I said hi to David Carlisle, but hi, David. Coin Curious is here. Hiram. Eunice. Great Scott. Jim Shank.
Malcolm's Coin.
I think I'm covered. Everybody else I kind of Joey. What's up, Joey? And Kelly. What's up, Kelly? And Coin and Card Hobbyist, how have you been? Haven't seen you since right now.
Man, what are you talking about? 500,000 for that dime? The 5 on cheek? 500K on cheek?
500K on cheek. This? What's up, Ringmaster Ray?
I need 500,000 for that dime. Oh.
My daughter sent me a story about somebody selling. I don't know how long ago it was, but with the 1975 No S, I guess some ladies got it when their brother passed away.
Yeah, it's a trio of Ohio sisters.
Trio
inherited it. Yeah.
Is that recent or was that a long time ago?
Well, it's currently on GreatCollections with 48 days remaining, and it's up over $250,000.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah, so it's halfway there. It's going to sell for a buttload of money.
Yeah. I wish I had that money.
Well, crazy part is it sold way back in like 1978 or whenever for $18,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it the mother and the brother, the brother of the sisters that inherited it. Yeah, they were involved in the purchase decision of that coin. They were dairy farmers out in the Midwest.
Isn't that crazy?
And yeah, they bought it for financial security.
Well, guess what?
Yeah, it kind of worked out. I mean, in the 70s, nobody ever thought about that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's nuts. Ashley, West Coast, where have you been? West Coast is the best coast, I hear. What's up, Angie?
Still hot as hell, though. It was 101 today here in Sac.
Yeah, I heard it was really bad. Around here, it's been like 77, I think, was our high.
Ours was nice over the weekend, but now it's getting hot again.
What's up, Eric?
I'm ready for cool weather.
Next month. God, it's only a month away.
Well, we had upper 50s, lower 60s this morning. It was really nice.
Ooh.
Here in Central Texas, of all places.
That's not bad. What's up, Jack Ullman? Well, and since everybody's coming in, the other part of the news today that we have to remember. Luke, I am your father. Anybody know the sad news? James Earl Jones passed away.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I didn't know that.
So yeah,
James Earl Jones.
yeah. I guess he was 93 though. He had a good life. So
He had a good long life, man. I tell you, I remembered him from movies like Sandlot and a few others. And he's an awesome voice actor. He had the voice.
Oh yeah.
He did Darth Vader proud.
They made fun of him. I saw a cartoon. What was it? I think it was Family Guy, where they were like, "James, we just want you to be the voice," and he was stuffed into a Darth Vader costume and skin poking out and stuff because he's a big guy. But anyway, it's funny.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's like the older I get, because I'm seeing all of the personalities I grew up with in the 80s and 90s are all going by the wayside. It's sad. It's sad.
I still remember him in Conan. Like that was one of my more memorable.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Kittle says King of Zamunda. That was.
Oh yeah, Coming to America. Yeah.
Yeah. Hilarious. Silver Spurs.
Let your soul glow.
Yeah. The other news is that our boy Blue is now piloting a jet plane.
Yeah, he's in tower control.
Talk to me, Goose. He's in tower control. Okay.
Wait, no, I can't do any jokes. We're 2 days away from September 11th, and I gotta be respectful.
None
of that stuff. Ever.
Yes, and as Ida says, remember prayers, and if you don't pray, just good vibes, good energy going out for Paula. She's going to have surgery tomorrow, and it's not going to be bad. It's going to be great. But she'll be gone for a little while, and we all love her and pray for her. So everything will be just fine. I know she's a little nervous, but nothing to be nervous about. So
it's okay. It's okay. We'll all get used to her high-pitched, squealy voice.
Yeah, right? We'll deal with it. We will deal with it. Iraq veteran, what's up? Dan McCumber, thank you. Thank everybody for prayers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else going on in the news today? Anybody? Anything cool?
Regular news or coin news?
Coin news, regular news. I don't know. Anything?
75 No S dime officially on the market. The second one out of two. That was never publicly sold. It's now being sold right now. So it's expected to be a very expensive piece. So you guys check your change for that no S 75 dime.
So, already
your sets, your proof sets.
Yeah.
Proof sets and not business strike.
Sets, yeah.
Right.
Not business strike.
Ida also says she has a doctor's appointment in the morning, and we're glad that Ida's doing much better. But Angel will be hosting the show.
Glad to have her back, yeah.
So, now, Sean, do you, I do this occasionally, but when you're hunting on eBay, do you actually look at the close-up of the 75 sets just to check?
The coins that I actually look for are the bicentennial, specifically the Ike dollar with the Type 1 reverse. I'm like more excited about looking for that.
Yeah.
Because every single 75 set had them.
Yeah.
76 had the Type 2 reverse, So, yeah, that gets me all giddy, and I'm like, the 75 No S dime is an afterthought. It's like stepping over $100 bill to grab the $1 bill on the ground. That's how I live my life.
But stepping over the spot where the $100 bill could be, but is not.
You end up finding dozens of $100 bills.
Right.
It could be. I'd step over those too.
That's awesome. Oh man.
Well, today we are doing Cram sessions. We've had a lot of emails, but we haven't had a lot of stuff that was good enough that we thought we wanted to throw into the show and talk about. So we're going to talk about your questions today. So anyone that wants to, throw some questions in there, not about specific coins that we would need to see, because obviously we can't see them right now, but just general questions or anything.
Well, Roy Wheeler asked, anyone know what the last 2020 cracked shield sense sold for? I'm assuming this is the bisecting die crack variant of that. I don't know. I don't know. There haven't been a whole lot of them that have sold lately. A little bit tougher to look for. Even I've been looking for one, and I just haven't been successful at it.
You mean looking for one to buy?
One for myself.
Because didn't you have like the lion's share of some of those?
No, that's a 2021.
That's
right?
a 2021.
Yeah.
No, this is the bisecting die crack on the reverse on the shield.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they had that for a few days. What, 2015 or?
You're right.
Well, what was
You're
the
right.
other? There was a few dates where you could find those.
It looks like there's one for $135. It's not in very good condition though.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of or seen a 1975 DDO dime? I don't think I've ever heard of one.
I have found quite a few of them, as a matter of fact, but as luck would have it, they were die deterioration doubling.
Oh,
Yeah.
Notorious on that date. Notorious. Has anyone ever found a 75 Washington quarter?
No.
no.
Are you sure, Adam?
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
No. Well, we don't know.
Uh,
Could it have been minted in 75? Maybe.
It was minted in 75, but it's not a 75.
Right. Question: does anyone feel like 90% junk silver is drying up? Jason, no.
Nope.
I will say no from my perspective.
Actually, the inverse is happening. A lot of people are selling it while the
Right.
prices are still decent right now.
Right.
I know a couple of my dealers. They have just been buying, and oftentimes they would have so much of the stuff that they would have to send out a good fair portion of it to the wholesalers because they just can't afford to keep it all, especially like $50, quarters.
Right.
It's kind of crazy right now. A lot of people selling it. People are kind of feeling the pinch with inflation and everything like that. It's just.
Yeah, and even with gold being up, I've heard that gold is selling very well too. Still, people.
Yeah, a lot of jewelry going through the shops, and this is.
Yeah.
I'm speaking on behalf of like 3-4 dealers in my area. A lot of old silverware, sterling, things like that, being sold, jewelry, all different types of jewelry as well. The ratio of the amount of selling to buying, is like 6 to 1. It's that crazy. Six sellers for every buyer.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Ant asked back here, how common are 1887 alligator eyes in uncirculated condition?
They're actually pretty common.
They are common. Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the more common VAMs. I find them all the time, especially.
Some of them have a clash too. So
Mm-hmm.
they have some of them have the clash and some don't.
It's a very cool VAM. They don't have the kind of premium that you want on them, even in like 63 to 65 mid-state grades. There's just a lot of them.
There's a couple other dates too that have alligator eyes, and I can't remember which ones they are.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Legs is asking, in the very old coins, early 1900s and older, how do you tell when there are errors? Actually, you said like double dies, but that wouldn't be an error. That would be a variety. If the letters and numbers just look fat. So
No.
I mean, there you'd probably have to find a good example of good picture of those coins, maybe
What years did the
1900s and older, like
well older, like so before 1900?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there could be class 6 hub doubling, which is distended hub doubling, which is usually fatter devices. So it's possible that you have class 6 hub doubling. It's definitely possible.
But how would you tell? Wouldn't I mean, like my first thought would be, okay, if I think I have a double die, I go and I try to find a, like an uncirculated picture of that coin, so that I can at least try to tell what do the devices look like normally.
Yeah. I would
compare.
Yeah, go to PCGS and look up the coin and see if there's already a picture of a normal high grade coin that you can compare to. I always do that all the time.
Yeah.
And then you can download it and use it as an overlay, and then and then of course buy the book. I can't. It's better when you have a source to look for the known varieties. Use somebody else's research that they've already done on the coin. Don't try to just make it up.
The good news is the internet has been around for over 30 years.
Yeah.
That we have 30 years of internet history to go off of. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of old sales, and things like that you could compare to.
Cool. Let's see. Southern Coin Hunter asked, with the zinc copper cents, I've noticed more die cracks on the memorial cents than on copper coins. Could this be due to the zinc being a softer metal? Okay, so you're basically asking, are the newer cents, do they have more die cracks or reverse? So maybe the dies deteriorate more on copper quicker because it's a stronger metal than zinc. Maybe that's the question.
It's kind of like how we see more die cracks and cuds and things on steel cents, is because it's much harder composition and it does a number on the dies, so the dies wear out quicker. The dies wear out quicker when it's striking those pre-82 coppers compared to the zincans. So,
Nickels too.
Yeah, right. Nickel. Yeah, nickels too.
Yeah, nickels horrible. Let's see. 75 and Penny said, I have 111 trinaries that I want to offload. Should I wait closer to Thanksgiving holiday or just start now?
Start now.
I would.
Don't wait. Don't wait, because other people are not.
Let's see. Just squeeze doubling.
the 96 cent that sold for 20.
Was that on a market report?
That was from last year. No, November of last year. The highest priced memorial reverse Lincoln was the 1996. I have a feeling it was a registry coin. Hey, it is. It's a Mint State 69. Right now, it's a Pop 5. So I have a feeling that the Pop was probably 1 or 2 a year ago, and then because of the price, it prompted a lot of searching. So
that's why you get rid of it.
It's a hot freaking potato. It's not 20 grand anymore. That coin is 69. It's probably worth a quarter of that
now.
Yeah, a few thousand. You'd be surprised that every time a new one hits the market, not so much the market, but a new one that hits the pop reports, it really kills the value of the originating coin that set the record. So, yeah.
Okay, so Southern Coin Hunter says he's finding more on zinc cents on the Zinkans. So maybe because the planchets aren't as good. I don't know why I would do that.
You got it, Ida. She's not here. It's just me. Yeah, Alan, great question. kind of a loaded question. There's a few Ike dollars worth keeping. It's not a series that's completely useless. I mean, it used to be. People, 20 years ago didn't really care about collecting any of them, except for the Type 2 72. But Adam over here has cherry picked some pretty good ones. Peg leggers.
Yeah.
There's a few in there. There's a few. The 1976 Philly Business Strike Type 1 reverse is especially tough. If you're able to, it's more of a grading thing, I think Mid-State 66 are like very expensive coins.
Interesting. So hello, Creed Creative. Saw you in there. What do you think about the 2008 WASE with 07 reverse?
I don't know anything about it, so I'm gonna confer to my panel mates here. That's an awfully
fun to have
niche coin that I know nothing about, unfortunately.
It is interesting. I know that if I were to hold varieties and aces, I would definitely want to get one.
Shay, what's the difference between a Type 1 and a Type 2, and why specifically that date?
Well, the date is you can kind of see the way in the design. There's a little tilde, and then I believe it's also the
U.
The the U has a little foot or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. I did hear about that. It isn't. Yeah. I think that's in like the Cherry Picker's Guide, like one of the
either that one or the other Treasure and Pocket Change.
Oh, the Strike It Rich one.
Strike It Rich with Pocket
Change. Even though it doesn't quite qualify as a pocket change coin.
Right.
Maybe not.
Or maybe it's more of a pocket piece.
It might be in the Cherry. I don't remember.
That's funny.
I remember hearing about it. The letter U with the little foot or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And one without. Yeah. Now I remember.
I think the footy one is the 2009 reverse.
I just don't remember reverse. For the life of me what the date was.
I've looked for years, but never been able to like snag one cherry picking. I've always seen them for sale. There's one on eBay right now for $4.95 for MS69. I mean, so wow. But then you're talking about over $1,000 for MS70. So.
Michael Kittle's saying he feels like it's long-term winter, but not very rare at all. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, or SP70, I should say, not MS70. But it's burnished.
Oh, it's a burnished, huh?
Yeah.
Ida wants to know if we weigh all of our Lincoln cents.
I weigh the transitional years.
Right.
I mean, why not? I have it sitting right at my desk next to my coins. So,
do you weigh the transitional years for other coins, just in case there's incorrect planchets?
Yeah, like $50 for sure. Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, really, if you have like if you're going from 69, say 69 to 70 and $50, do you weigh your 1970 quarters? Or cents or anything else?
Well, 69 and 70 were both
or 70, 71, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
69
not really, because I can see the silver typically.
I was going to say, it's when you're comparing a copper nickel clad to a 40% silver, they're very distinguishing, even if you don't do a drop test or even weighing it. Yeah, I mean, you could kind of tell just by looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what's kind of very close, and you do need to audit that with a weigh-in is like your 82 to 83 Lincoln cents. You know,
for sure.
That's where I could see it. It's more relevant.
There's a lot of people putting in. Let's see. Is there a 1970 Lincoln cent that's a planchet error?
Very possible. I mean,
could be.
any coin can have an error. So
Any year.
yeah.
Any coin.
Let's see. Zinc,
Planchetti.
small date 82 cents. Yeah.
I'll say it. Come on now.
Instead of a machete, I have a planchetti.
Planchetti. No, that's a planchette. It's French. Planchette.
Planchet.
Planche.
Can I get a planchet of various cheeses and salami?
Would you say we have a plethora of planches?
A plethora.
So Wapmamus, I don't know if I'm saying that right, says 1972 Jefferson nickel stamped on the side rim VV and the opposite rim XX. Any insight? Counter stamps? Something?
Counter stamp, postman damage. It's possible. What comes to mind is that the coin was in a vise, and the vise, if you look at the teeth, they have like a crosshatch. That could be the pattern that you're seeing. Now, obviously, when you look at the coin, it'd be somewhat smushed, in order to have that on there. But it's not typical. A nickel shouldn't have any reeded edge or any sort of lettering on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting if, like, later on down the road, they did something different design-wise where they had, like, edge lettering. And we see this on, was it Native American dollars? Like, back in 2007. There were some that they made that were not supposed to have edge lettering, and they came up having edge lettering. I think I got that right? I don't know.
Or vice versa.
It's almost like a transitional, like,
Right.
They end up using the collar that had all of the, the design, because the collar is a die in itself too, so they can manipulate it any which way.
Right. Let's see. How often do you cherry pick a coin from a major auction house, Adam?
I just did
Adam and Sean.
5 or 6 this weekend. So.
5 or 6. Okay, there you go. Pretty often. Kind of often.
All the time. All the time. Yeah.
Nice.
One of them is a banger too.
Richard B. Happy, is the 2022 D quarter error in COD We Trust US Maya Angelou worth collecting?
That's blasphemy to even bring that up on the show. The COD error. There's something fishy going on. I just can't put my finger on it.
And that's the show, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Thank you very much for playing.
Oh my gosh. So there is no in COD We Trust. It's basically just the...
it's an unfortunate decision to choose that type style for that lettering.
Yeah.
And it's kind of understandable because you're working with very little design space on that part of the coin, so they have to choose some sort of type style that's skinny enough to fit what they need, the motto on there on that particular area. We see it all the time, and it's nothing worth mentioning, because if it was so rare, then you would only see it on one coin. But why is every coin saying COD on it?
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, go back. You can never go wrong going back to PCGS, looking at the current version of the coin and deciding what is the design this coin is using and does it match. To start there, right? And then start looking at the differences.
And do not be freaking selective. Don't look at a coin on PCGS's website and say, "Oh, this says God," and it's very noticeable. I'm like, it's bullshit, because it's the same.
Yeah, the same.
It's C, and it's a G, and it's both letters.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Indivisible Man said, should there be different degrees of detail severity that affect coin values rather than just a binary straight grade versus details ungradable?
Yeah, can you run that by us again?
Should there be different degrees of detail severity that affect a coin's values rather than just straight grade versus, or binary straight grade versus details ungradable?
So when we're looking at the various selections and different coding for details like cleaned, whizzed, bent, things like that, I would assume that maybe cleaning might be the least worst of them all. But environmental damage,
Especially on older coins, right? Because everybody cleaned their coins way back in the.
It is, but if we went back 250 years to the federal age of coins, especially copper, where over 50% of the existing examples exhibit some sort of environmental damage as if they were buried in the ground. You talk to any purist early copper collector, and they are not going to care that it has that detail, on there. Especially when it doesn't adversely affect the design or obscure it enough where they can't pick out a Sheldon or Newcomb variety or things like that. And you ask them, they're like, I prefer my coins ungraded anyways. They're very particular about those early coppers.
So rarity and then condition.
Well, if we're talking early coppers, yeah, because they like to find out what the die pairing is, with the Sheldon attribution and Breen and all that stuff. It's a case by case basis, right? It depends on the series, the coin. If we're talking about, a rare 20th century coin, like a 1916D. Let's take that for example, because I talked about one example that sold on GreatCollections in good 6, true blue, problem free. It's still an $1,800 coin, but when you have that same coin that maybe was clean, now all of a sudden it's $1,000 coin. There's an adverse effect there on that particular piece, but again, it's different. It's different, really, on a lot of series. Now, I could say things like bent. Bent is a pretty big one. Not a lot of people like bent coins. It doesn't matter what it is.
That makes sense.
Graffiti.
Yeah, great graffiti. Yeah. I don't know. It's again, it can be different across multiple different types of series. I know the newer you get, it's more impactful on values. Shovel digs exactly, especially if
Are you talking about on the W quarters?
Which drives me crazy because they got if you guys are into like metal detecting videos on YouTube, and you get these like newer people that are like metal detecting, and they find coins that are like XF and AU but crusted in dirt, and they're sitting there and they're like doing this with your fingers, trying to get the dirt off. I'm like, that's soul crushing. But now, because now it's a coin with problems where you could have just,
guys, think about that. Abrasive dirt.
I mean, what's worse than putting like rocks on it? Rub it
stick it in a baggie and put it in the freezer.
Or put in a rock tumbler.
No, yeah. It'll make it real.
That'll clean it right up. A little spit shine afterwards.
It'll look all fuzzy too and stuff. It's really cool.
But it's very surprising how these metal detectorists that are operating $3,000 machines, they're treating the finds in that fashion, And it's Civil War relics as well. They're sitting there cleaning the was it the mini balls? Is that what they call them? You know, and it's like
yeah.
that's not how it's supposed to look.
That's all pitted.
Yeah. We gotta get rid of the pitting. So I just bust out my angle grinder and go to town on that thing. Oh man, I was like, there is no hope for society.
That's funny. Oh,
Every
okay.
once in a while, we have somebody send us a picture of a coin in vice grips, and it just like sends us over.
Yeah, hold it with.
Make sure you send that to Jeffrey Schumacher. You know he loves that.
There's also people that maybe haven't washed their hands and they're holding the coin. And
oh yeah. Oh, you can like see the Gojo fresh off their mechanic greased hands, right?
Yes.
And they're holding like a beautiful silver $50 or something.
It's all right. The coins have smelled like a nice pumice orange.
Oh, and little stamp tongues are not to be used on coins either.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it has the little poly coverings on the tongues. It does not matter. It seriously triggers the shit at me when I see that, especially on eBay listings.
Right.
I was like, you had a chance to sell that.
Yeah. I would have bought that, but
yeah, I'm using very heavily my past tense words on this one.
Nice.
So what is trade-off between strike and tooling? Well, you mean like re-engraved dies tooling? Or do you mean tooling post-strike? Like alteration?
Is it like tooling to strengthen the design of a coin? Or tooling in a sense of adding something to the coin that is not
tail feathers or
right,
whatever.
Yeah.
Post strike.
Now, re-engraving and tooling are two different things in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ant says you can find the 1916 DDO by doubling. Oh. Because up here, okay, so Joey said, this wasn't a question. For fun, I picked up 300 dateless buffaloes, hoping to find 1916 over 6, 18 over 7, 13 type 1, and or type 2, S&D mint marks, hopefully without using nicodate. And then Ant, I think that's where Ant says you can find the 16 DDO by the doubling in the feathers, no need for nicodate, and the 18 over 17 is only on the Denver.
Oh, a newsflash. A grading company will grade a 16 dateless if it has the doubled feathers and the doubled ribbon coming off the braid. Yeah. And it's like $1,000 coin.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's quite the chase. You know, people knock dateless buffaloes all the time. I'm like, I'm telling you, you want 1 RPM was that 15D over D or whatever it is. That's
and don't
one more expensive RPMs. Yeah, please don't.
Hey, Stacey.
A71 is asking, would 2.98 on a 1983 cent be considered a transitional error?
I would say it's probably within tolerances. Because if we're thinking about 2.5 grams, it's probably, as far as like a standard Zinken, it's within tolerances, I would say. Where I would question is it, once it gets to about 3 grams, 2.9 maybe. I don't know.
Well, he's saying 2.98, so maybe not.
I mean, that's pretty. That's up there.
That's pretty damn close.
Might also, I mean, it's also possible that there was another, like, weren't Panama coins minted that year as well, and they were copper. I think it might be worth just checking that.
Yeah.
So it might not be a planchet, a regular copper cent planchet. It could be a foreign coin planchet. But that would be something you'd probably have to
You get tested.
Somebody to look. Yeah, get tested.
Yeah, we could give you a qualified answer here without the coin in hand. But even then, we don't have the testing equipment. So,
right. Fast orange is neither fast or orange. I don't know
and make sure you calibrate your scale multiple times, double check it, because I hate to waste time on something that's not really that close.
Mike Pepe says 2008 Arizona State Quarter. I found an error, only one known. I can send pictures if anyone can advise me. 1912 date filled with cuds. So, Mike.
Oh, on the Arizona, I know there's a few of them that have like the dye chips and the cactus at the bottom of the coin.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, those exist. But I'm not sure what the poster is referring to, if that was the case. But I do know there's a lot of dye chips. It's a very busy area on the coin.
Yeah, you can find they're covering the designer's initials, but there's also some under the banner in different places, and I mean I found them everywhere on there.
I put our email in the chat, so you can, if you want to take pictures and send to us, you certainly can. We'll definitely take a look and can get back to you with it.
Hey Shannon, you see that? Jack Riley found another 1900 VAM 52, one of its sister fakes.
Oh my gosh, another one?
Huh. That's wild.
Which one's VAM 52?
It's the one after VAM 51. There's so many of them. I don't know. Off of memory, which one is what? I know more of the peace dollar ones. The Morgan VAMs are a lot.
Micro O's. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a micro O.
Nice. So A71 also says, what about a nickel weighing 4.7 grams on a 1944p? That's probably, depending on what it looks like, it's probably just worn down.
The only 44p I am concerned with is the one without the mint mark on the reverse and a little loop in the R.
Right, and then it will be
right. That's the one, right? 44.
Yeah.
The Civil War date, or not Civil War, the silver manganese date. That is a Henning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one I found.
One just sold for $275. I remember when you were able to get those for under $100, like 5 years ago. Every single Henning that comes across on eBay has been bangers. I'm like, I wish I would have held on to the 3 or 4 that I had years ago.
Crazy, huh?
That's what happens when you get a new group of people coming in with that interest.
Mm-hmm.
So some people still say, well, why do you spend that kind of money on a counterfeit? And I'm like, you don't understand. This is contemporary kind of like history. It's like the was it the DB Cooper hijacking where he stole all that money and then got away with it, but half the money burnt. Or something like that. There's like folklore type stuff that's very interesting and interests collectors into really buying in pretty heavily into this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Oh, what's up, Dirty Water? What's up, Frostbite? So you guys said hello. Indigon, what's up? Does 3 come after 2? Yes. Coin nerd humor is too funny. What's up, Lady Spitfire? Good to see you.
Yeah, isn't there for Morgan's an 1880 micro O, and that's like a pretty regular design type on the mint mark on a lot of those dates.
Are you asking me? I think so.
Just in general, chat's just trying to disseminate,
Oh.
the whole counterfeit deal, and the micro being one of those kind of like markers for that.
Well, Jack's certainly the person that will have some of that information.
Yeah.
And I see that he's saying stuff in there. He says all 1896, 1900, and 1902 micro O are contemporary counterfeits.
Right. Yep. I think there was like only the 1880 O. Yeah, he even said, that's the date I forgot. That's the legit one. Because if you look on VamWorld, there's a whole list of micro O's that are combined with other various different types of things that make them unique to specific VAM attributions. It's very and there was what's funny is they use the same mint mark punch. Also, I think on Barber Quarters there were a few dates that had a micro O on there. Right, yeah, the 1899 micro O is another one that's legit. I think that one's more expensive too. The 1880 O micro O is more readily available.
Well, and what Jack was also saying was that 1899 was the host coin used for false dies. So that would kind of make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So Indivisible Man's rephrasing, would it be better to have an 1837 cap bust $50 in AU with damage, or a VG6 1837 cap bust $50? So again, I think that's kind of what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get varying opinions. You collect what you like, but however, keep this in mind. If you were going to one day and you have your exit strategy further on down the road, you get out of the market, you get out of the hobby, which is going to be easier to sell?
Yep. So, I like to photograph coins, and I like to have a variety, and there's just some varieties I can't really just afford off the cuff. I was able to get a cleaned 1864 small motto for $26. All right, and it's in beautiful condition otherwise, right? So yeah, I mean, I have an example of a small motto that I can use in comparing other 2-cent pieces when I get piles of them and I'm looking for small dates. So there's advantages to be able to hold one in your hand. I mean, you can look at pictures all day long, but what if you were trying to study all the die markers?
Yeah.
Certainly having a nicer AU coin, even if it's damaged in a certain area, gives you access to that, especially if it is a variety, right, that you're looking for. So there are advantages, especially if you can get it on the cheap. But as Blue Ridge says, value, when it comes time to sell your collection, we see it all the time. People are like surprised when they've overpaid for all these coins in their collection. They can't get 10% of what they paid,
And I would imagine even an AU coin would have some pretty good significant luster still remaining. I would imagine that some damage is still going to make it a pricier coin than a low grade version of that same date. 1837 is not a rare date. I would say that if you were, I think the comparison is more akin to, okay, I found this AU coin that has like rim damage or graffiti or whatever the case is, and then for the same amount of money, I found a VF35 in a graded holder, of the same date. But that doesn't quite apply to every single coin. Yeah. I know with that particular coin, because I have a few 1837 Kappa's halves. It's a very common date, but it's also kind of a cool changeover of design. You get to see it a little bit different from one to the other. Go for one that is, if you had X amount of dollars, buy the maximum amount of coin that is problem free with that money. But to kind of share in the sentiment of Shay's point, there's nothing wrong with buying a coin that is perhaps cleaned or something minor to that point, because it affords you the opportunity to buy a coin that is normally, under those circumstances, hundreds of dollars. A problem-free small motto 64 2-cent piece is expensive. It's very expensive. I would love to have one as a type coin. I think they're far and away a much better example to fill in that slot in an album than a large motto. Large mottos grow on trees.
Yeah.
Small mottos do not. So, you can obtain rarities at a fraction of the price and still feel good about it, because you did buy a rarity, you're going to have something that's still going to have a nice amount of value attached to it too.
Kelly, Discovery coins are definitely out there still.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got this. I gotta submit for Discovery.
Yeah, I've got at least 50.
Yeah. So
I'm just waiting for the services to calm down and have start accepting coins again.
Yeah, Daniel, that's a good point. The damage versus straight grade is a better question for key dates and rare varieties. Like that small date 64. Yeah.
You want to see some varieties that are damaged?
I mean, I want to make another point about what Kelly said. Are there still Discovery coins out there? Yes. So I would resist the temptation to set a list on your table when you're going through coins and tossing out coins that aren't on your list.
Right.
When I go through a box, I look at every coin, even if I know there's not something typical for that date. Now, it may not take me as long to go through that coin, but I still look, right? And you may be missing errors if you don't. That's another thing, right? Because the error could be on any date, no matter what, right?
And flip your coin over, for God's sake.
Look at the back. Look at those sides.
I have a bad habit of forgetting about the reverse and checking for double dice. Don't get me wrong. I do it all the time.
A lot more people have a much worse habit of flipping the coin over to look for die rotation errors. That is the most ponderous thing that you could do. You're like, great, I'm going through a box of coin, and then now you're telling me I gotta spend double the time to flip the coin on its axis. I'm like, yeah, especially when you're going through nickels, because there are a number of 2000 teens, like 2015 Jefferson nickels. I have like these 90-degree counterclockwise rotated dies, and they're kind of a big deal,
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, there's one.
Case in point, what is that, 180 degrees?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, medallic alignment versus coin turn alignment.
Yeah,
it's huge.
I'm
telling you,
that was actually gifted.
That coin, ladies and gentlemen, that Shannon has in his hand is like a $50 bill at its minimum.
Yeah,
I guarantee you. And the fact that it's a state quarter,
right?
It's just off the charts.
Yeah, I got to send something back to my friend that sent that to me. I don't know if they knew how much it was worth, but anyway.
Yeah, and I confess, I'm bad about flipping the coins over, not only looking at the reverse, but just looking for die rotation errors. It's just so damn time consuming.
It is. It really is.
It is. Yeah. You kind of have to pick your battles with that one.
Start in the morning and go all the way till evening. There you go.
My God.
Guys like Chuck Daughtry,
my eye is blind. I'm blinded.
I know, yeah. I was like, Chuck Daughtry says, when I go through a box of pennies, it probably takes me like 2 months. I was like, wow. But he looks at every single coin with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah. Every device and everything. Yeah. Which state quarter? This is the 2000D. It's actually on a Denver too, Sean. This is South Carolina. Yeah. 2000D even.
Denver.
So Denver.
What is it under the? Is it extra branch on that one that you look for?
On the South Carolina?
Yeah, I think I found one.
Oh, really? Like in the in that little tree area?
Yeah, where his foot is.
The palmetto.
Down below.
The branch that the bird is sitting on.
Yeah, I've got one finally.
You found one?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Paula loves those.
Really? I thought she was okay. You're kidding, right? Yeah, fly poop.
Yeah,
pepper in the fly poop.
Fly poop. Speaking of fly poop, the was it the Wyoming state quarter with the double? What we call it on the saddle? Is that a horn? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe they put this shit in the cherry picker's guide. It's so minuscule, and you need to look through the Hubble telescope just to see what it is.
Oh, I'm a big fan of those things.
Or the Oregon state quarter, or the Minnesota state quarter.
Right, yeah, with the double trees. Although those are kind of interesting, though.
Yeah,
especially the Minnesota, where there is a clearly defined, completely separate tree, or half a tree, or whatever it is.
Tough because I'm like looking, I'm like, which one is it?
There's so many trees. Yeah, you got to really. That's where you got to know the design to really kind of know what you're.
But with that being said, is that particular variety any better than, say, any of the Homestead DDRs? I mean, those ones are not in the cherry picker's guide.
Well, but that doubled window, I mean, is pretty amazing, I think. And
it is. It is spectacular. The moment that you look at it and you see that, you're like, that's impressive.
Is that the one with the double pump handle?
The double pump handle?
Yeah, that and the Harper's Ferry. The Harper's Ferry with the myriad of different double window panes.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my! You know what? There was like 150 different attributions, and it would probably take you a year to identify each one of the coins you do come across.
Yeah,
it'll take a while.
Shannon and I spend countless hours looking through all those and meticulously filling our boxes and labeling them. I found the exact one.
I got it narrowed down to 10 of them that are all very similar.
Oh yeah.
I can't find the one that I want though.
But I don't know. I kind of feel that makes you better at this, getting all that practice.
If you could nail that, I will say that your kind of like your level that you're on in varieties has enhanced greatly with that. Because with the hobby, and especially looking for this stuff in rolls, patience, wins the day. If you don't have the patience, you will not succeed in finding any of this stuff.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thank you, Dirty Water. You will probably be the one to find it.
And for me, I'm not satisfied until I get, I'm sure that I've identified it correctly with markers and everything else.
I thought you were going to say until I get one of each attribution, because there are people that are looking for like every bit of 1 through 150 of those Harper's Ferry DDRs.
Yeah, guilty.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm sitting there looking on eBay because I do the PCMR. I'm like, so someone bought like 8 of them in a row and they spent $10 a piece on them. And I find that extraordinary. And that's kind of like that's part of the depth of the hobby is you have someone that's willing to do that. And as niche as you want to call it, there was like an ass for every seat. And that's the exciting part about what we do.
Yeah, I get emails every day saying, "Oh, there's a new Homestead or Harper's Ferry popped up in eBay."
Oh, yeah. That's wild.
That's cool.
I mean, what about my 1960D RPMs? That collection's coming along,
right?
Yeah, that's quite the undertaking. But that's also a good date. There's a lot of really nice, fun RPMs. They're not simply the tilted or rotated types, which plague, maybe.
Best to do this too, because I flipped the page one time and looked at 1961, the count, and I was like,
so 61D is a bear, because I had at one point like 200 BU rolls of 61Ds, and I'm like, yeah, it's either the D over horizontal D or bust. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I was like going through them. It's like rotated.
Yeah.
But the mid mark is like a slightly different placement on every single one. I'm like,
and then 50.
Yeah,
I'm sporting some of those too.
But I was like, I will either choose to make this a rabbit hole, or I will just simply cover it back up with dirt and then continue to walk on. I think I ended up filling the hole, with dirt and then just walking on after that point.
Same with 2009 DDRs; those are pretty the Lincolns.
Hey, there's nothing better to do on a rainy day when you're stuck inside and you can't go outside than labeling your 1960 DRPMs.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have a lot of snow this winter. No place to go.
Yeah, because you certainly don't want to make the YouTube's worst drivers list when you're sitting there. I'm like, oh yeah, you're supposed to, not keep your foot on the brake as you slide down the hill with that black ice and then run into a school bus. You don't want to be that guy, because I see it every year.
In the Midwest, we have to learn how to drive in that crap. So,
especially you. If your car works. Anyways.
Well, let's rephrase that, Shannon. Especially you every day of the week, because that's what you do for your job.
Every day. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Coin Curious asked a basic question. I've read the definition a million times, but can you all describe what a type coin is and the best way to start a set?
Great question. Adam?
So
what was the question?
I just always thought that a type coin was getting one of each type.
Yes. Yep.
That's kind of how to start it. I don't know, start from the top down or the bottom up. Get either the cheaper ones that you can plug into your book and end with the more expensive ones. Or some people say get the more expensive ones now because they'll just keep getting more expensive. So
yeah. For example, seeded Liberty dollars. I mean, if you're a type collector, and by kind of like definition, a type collector is one that collects one of each series that's ever been released. There is U.S. type collecting. There's Canadian type collecting. It exists per country. So with type collecting is really cool, for the fact that if you're new in the hobby and you're a little bit unsure of what direction you want to take in the hobby, I always tell folks, if you can manage it, start a type collection. And then I go through the rigmarole of explaining exactly what that is. You could decide to do kind of like an all-inclusive type set, kind of like a Dansko 7070 that covers a lot of coins that go all the way back to, the 18th century. That could get a little pricey. That's why I brought up the whole seeded Liberty dollar or trade dollar, or, the 20-cent piece is a stupidly expensive coin if you're looking for one that's problem-free. But the idea of collecting one of each series, you begin to have an appreciation for each type, and therefore it allows you to do some history behind it. Like, why does a 3-cent piece even exist? Because it's such an oddball denomination, right? And then you begin to kind of like deep dive. You do more internet searches. It's a short enough of a series that you may want to actually do it because it's so interesting. Like 3-cent silvers, man. That's a hot series, and a lot of people don't really think about it. So
you get into the rabbit hole. This is great for historical perspective on different coins in history. This will just get you started, and then you can go even further. Like the 20-cent piece is one of my favorites. I mean, I love that. It's beautiful coin, beautiful design, short set. There are some varieties. And there's a website, doubledimes.com, or what, I can't remember. Let me see.
By the way, that's what they call the 20-cent pieces are double dimes.
Double dimes.
It makes sense. Makes sense. What I like about the 20-cent pieces is that if you look close enough, Liberty on the shield is in relief. It's not incused into the design of the shield, which kind of gives it a different element of collectability, because you can say, all right, I think I'm going to tackle double dimes, 20-cent pieces, but as far as affordability, I want to be like at fine condition for all of these pieces I want to buy. But you're going to find when you buy those coins that grade at fine or VF, you're not going to be able to see Liberty. You're not going to be able to see a lot of the design because it wears so poorly. Compared to any other seeded Liberty coin, the design it's different, but you have to take the time to take a look at one at its highest grade. Like, take a look at one that's like in mint state condition, like in a graded holder already. Get really close into some of those details, and you're going to see why it's a different animal compared to any other seeded Liberty coin.
And just tip, don't rush out and buy one until you can truly understand the difference between a cleaned coin and just a normal.
There's a lot of cleaned 20-cent pieces in the market. It is insane how many there are.
But I guess that applies to any coin.
Yeah. A lot of the market acceptable coins pieces of that series, because it's such a small series. Shay, it spans what, like 3 years or something like that?
Yeah.
75, 76, 77, or 78, right? Is that, I don't know. It's just a few years.
Yeah.
So a lot of the nicer, problem-free, market acceptable pieces are already in collections. So if you're lucky enough to find one that's problem-free, that's a high enough grade for you to appreciate the details of the coin as far as design, yeah, go for it. And the reverse is unlike anything else. It's a different reverse than any other seeded Liberty.
The eagle is amazing.
Yeah.
The details. Yeah.
Dirty Water says his favorite is the Trime. I think my favorite is the Trickle. Or the Trickle. How do they say that?
No,
the Trickle.
Talk about it. It's a unique design, right? And that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think we miss in our coinage is these unique designs, or I guess we have them for 20 some odd years or sometimes more. Like the seeded Liberty, it went on for so long, people started getting bored of it. But now I look back, it's a good looking coin, but they might not have said that at the time. People were like, geez, give us a new design. So,
it was a boring series across the board, every denomination, going all the way back into the early 90s, because there was so many of them out there at coin shops, at the shows. The seeded Liberty is a very, very, very deep pool of coins. You got a kitty cat there.
I know. She's new. I got her yesterday.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to the old one?
He was a bad boy.
Did he go back?
Yeah.
now, if you like trimes, you probably like half dimes. Also, another small little thing, right? The Valentine's die pairings.
Commonly referred to as fish scales, and if you put one in your hand, you'll know why.
They smell?
No, they're thin. Hey,
They're
I've
thin.
actually when I've pressed one into a Dansko 7070 many years ago,
You bent
I
it?
actually bent the thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was like, yeah,
I've seen plenty of bent ones, that's for sure.
yeah.
Trying to.
That's funny. That's kind of sad, but funny. Jack Riley said you really have to watch out for the early half cents with a tooled C6 reverse that doesn't exist for that date.
Yeah, that tooling on that Cohen 6 will fool a lot of people who are not deeply involved in half cents. I know which one he's talking about too. That's the funny part.
Well, they named her Snacks. SNACKS. She's a little fat. She's a little chunky. So
I thought you were going to say SNAX.
So I think I'm gonna call her Tasha though. That's what I'm gonna call her.
Tasha. That's funny. Well, has she been behaving?
So far, yeah.
Well,
She was making a little noise last night, meow, 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 meow. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to sleep. Stop. But
cute. Well, okay, so Jack says the 1804 spiked chin scent that was used to make the fake dies. He saw one with the stems removed from the reverse. This was an 1806 C6 with stems removed. So
what's the rare 1804 half cent? Is that the Crosslet 4 stemless variety? I think I forgot which one it is, but I don't know. There's one that's like way more expensive compared to the other ones. Those. I know an 1804 large cent is expensive. That's just like a very, very key of dates.
What's up, Justina? Came over from a Blue Ridge video.
Boom! Oh, what did I talk about? I don't remember.
Today you were talking about some overly priced coins being sold.
Yeah, the world
high.
record setter of just a regular business strike Lincoln Memorial.
That's 70. Yeah,
72S out of all dates.
what did it sell for? I didn't watch it yet. I'm gonna watch it later.
21,500.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a mid-state 67 plus. I mean, it doesn't seem like anything that special.
Not even a 68. You know?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a pop one and it's 67 plus.
No.
None higher. No, I mean, obviously, right? Because it's sold for $21,500. For crying out loud, that's 7 ounces of gold right there. Right? I got that right, huh? Yeah. Price of gold, 7.5 ounces, somewhere around there.
I would have sold it too, though. Had I found something like that, oh yeah, I would have sold it. Like, okay, bye.
But you need to have the balls to send in that and maybe 20 of its closest condition other, brothers.
Well, that's why you do both.
Because you don't send just one. You got to send like 40 of them in the hopes that maybe one will drop. I'm like, oh man, I need to get off this ride. It's I did that. I did that back in like 2013. I was doing 65, 66, and 67 Washington quarters, and I was trying to go for that 67 grade, because that's where it really mattered at the time. I don't even think there was a plus grade for any of those, and I got torched bad, and I went through so many BU rolls. I mean, I probably went through for each date maybe 30, 40 rolls, and I cleaned the market for those business strike coins. Never again. I was like that that changed me as a man. You know, in 2024, I won't ever do registry set grading. Adam will, but you know, he picks the safe dates. You know, like the 50s, 50p,
and varieties too,
52p,
though. No,
and varieties.
Varieties. So
Yeah, I'm taking a close look at your 46D over D and then your proof quarter.
there's no
I've got
bids
that.
on it yet. No bids on them yet.
Well, you have minimums. So you're price protecting them. You don't want to sell them for cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I kind of think you're going to end up with a bid on the nickel very easily.
Oh yeah. I had somebody that wanted to look at it at the A&A show, but they got there too late before I submitted it. So I said, well, I'll let you know when it goes up for auction. So that's what I did. Hi.
Comments like these make me not want to grade coins ever.
Yeah, I am dissuading everyone to grade ultra moderns. I mean, it's stupid. You know, there's someone out there with some success that's able to catch the lightning in a bottle, but I'm telling you, it's not for everyone. I'm going to say it's not for 99.9% of the people out there, but there's going to be a few people that you know, that will do it, and they have bottomless pits of money
to waste.
Yeah, because you got to waste money to make money in the registry set game.
Indigon said he's drinking the stupid juice and sending out some ultra modern dimes.
I mean, do you think it's really worth it if you were able to get a full registry set? I mean, a full set. I mean, you know, of any series. Is that a good investment over, say, just putting it in the S&P 500?
I mean, I think it could be, depending on what it is. You know, I mean, I think there's definitely value there. It's just,
I mean, we're talking maybe, you know, an average of 10% gain over, you know, some number of years.
But the thing about registry set coins is that it plays in reverse, in the sense that as time goes on and more of these coins enter the population at those higher grades, that kills the value of those that once were pop 1 and pop 2 coins. You know, you got to figure, for every one that comes out, slices the value in half. If it sold for 20K a year ago, now it's worth 10 because one other one came out at the same grade. And then another one comes out, slice it again in half. Now it's a $5,000 coin.
Why do you think this one's going to GreatCollections this weekend?
Oh, I know why. I know why, because it's a hot damn potato, you know, with all the fixins on there. It's a gorgeous coin, and I'm glad you got that. But now is the time, especially this time of year when people are back in the hobby after Labor Day and through
I'd
the
like
holidays.
to get it up for auction by November, because November usually they do pretty good that time of year. So.
Yeah, November is that's kind of like the end, because once you get into December, things slow down quite a bit.
Good night, Colorado Mountain Mama. Thanks for coming. Jack Gallman asks if he should send his W quarters in to be graded. He pulled them out of rolls himself.
It depends on what it grades. Here's the thing: if it grades a 67. Even a 66 on some of them, like the Rockefeller, I think is still about $160 coin. I think in a 66. So
I don't think it's worth it.
I mean,
not currently right now. Now, if you're going to hold on to these quarters for the foreseeable future because you don't need the money, just hold on to them, because the coins will enhance in value. I mean, again, there's that old saying: the further away that we distance ourselves from when that coin was released, the prices are just going to enhance naturally. And that's by pure supply and demand. Because whatever's left over in circulation, they're all going to be beat to hell. Let's be honest. Yeah, there's not going to be too many that you could pull out of change that are going to grade, you know, anything north of 64. But again, I mean, the W quarters, as special as they are, as low minted as they are, I see them as no better than any other modern coin. That's like, we're going to for registry set or bust. You know, you're pissing away good money after bad at that point. You know, Eh,
Like for me, I do bulk, so that's how I send mine off so cheap.
that's where it can be equitable.
Yeah.
You know, but again, you have to send off the right coins. You don't just want to send a mishmash of, you know, I don't want to send a bunch of 1987 Lincoln cents, you know, or whatever. You know, it's you have to be selective. If I personally had like 100 very nice, high quality W Mint quarters from 19 and 20, I'd probably send all of them because I know they're going to be that bulk submission price per piece. It's less of a bitter pill to swallow at that point, even if they came back in grade ranges from like 64 to 67. I wouldn't feel as bad because the 64 grades still sell for like 30, 35 bucks, you know? What's cool about the W quarters is they have a floor. You know, there's not too many of them in mid-state that you see travel too far south of like, say, 20, 25 bucks. So pretty cool coins. They're going to have a lot of longevity, you know, in time. But we're not far enough away from 2020 for them to, you know, all of a sudden be worth a boatload of money.
What's up, Crispy? John Jacobs wants to know, should I get my missing clad layer quarters slabbed? All three are nice. I would say you don't have to. You probably don't need to.
Safe bet is just send them to Annex.
Yeah. The cheaper. That way, at least if you've got them in a holder and it's labeled, you know, then you don't have to prove what it is. But I mean, an error collector will know.
Especially quarters too. There's just something about that particular coin that's impressive when they don't have the nickel layer on there, and it's like it's copper on one side, nickel on the other. You know, if I had to power play it where I know I want to sell it and not keep it for myself, I'd send it to Annex.
Yeah. Jack Dahlman says, I have a roll of quarters with a W ender. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Will getting them slab prevent the copper from tarnishing? You mean like toning? No. It won't.
Oxidizing to a brown. Kind of like a Lincoln cent.
Oh. Will it protect them? I mean, it'll protect them better than nothing, but...
Yeah.
But you can also...
There's always the off chance that they'll still progress into a brown, even when they're encapsulated. I know there's certain kind of like atmospheric conditions that have to exist even inside a sonically sealed slab, because I've seen it too. I've seen tone coins that looked a certain way turn a little bit different even when they're in a slab. Same goes for copper. Like once bright red Lincoln cents or Indian head cents, you know, sometimes when they get inserted into a slab, they'll turn into a red brown. You know, but on the slab label it'll still say full red.
Right.
Yeah, I've come across some of those, by the way, like old OGH Indian head cents and like teens and 20s Lincolns that were graded full red, and they're like, no way, this is a red brown or a brown, and the coin has been the slab for 30 years plus. You know,
he's saying the question was kind of on the missing clad layer quarters,
right?
Which it would be the same as what you've just said. And I was going to throw in there something that Paula always likes to say, which is you can buy your own slabs. If you know, it doesn't have to have a grade on it, or you can put your own grade on it, whatever you think the grade might be. But you can, you know, basically encapsulate coins with stuff that you can buy off of Amazon or whatever and protect them a little bit, you know.
Now, missing clad layer coins, they do not denote a color designation on them. Like if there's copper showing, they're not going to say, "Oh, it's full red or red brown." They give it a numerical grade, and then they assign the error diagnostic right on the slab of what you have there. So I wouldn't worry about it. You know, if you did grade it or not, it's going to be the same regardless.
Yeah. Kelly's asking, what about the 2019 W penny?
It's an awesome coin. It's a very unique offering. You know what they did, and the nickel as well. The Lincoln cents have more staying power because it's just a much more powerful series. You don't need to grade it because I know they come in the little, you know, cellophane, little blister, whatever things that they put in the envelope inside of the proof sets or the mint sets. So, you know, unless you know it's going to come back as 70, it needs to be a 70 for the proof and reverse proof coins, and then probably like a mint state 69 for the uncirculated W Lincoln. You know, that's where they're going to have the most amount of value. Oh, is it dirty water? My missing clad from Annex is labeled as a red. Huh. Maybe that's just Annex. I don't know if NGC or PCGS color designates a missing clad layer coin.
Coin Curious says, let's say that the government stops making coins but keeps making paper currency. What do y'all think will happen to the coin market?
I don't think it's going anywhere, personally. The U.S. coin market in general is just too big and too powerful. It's in our lifetime. If they decided tomorrow that they're going to do away with producing any coin, the coin market will still be strong.
And there'll still be coins out there for a long time. I mean, look at Canada stopped producing cents, but they still accept them in the commerce. It's traveling around.
And the banks still hand them out as well to merchants and to regular people that come in. So
right.
Is there Legs asks, is there a particular part of the country that produces the nicest toning because of its conditions, humidity, etc.? There could be an argument that that's the case, but I think it really depends on the where it's stored in. You know, in an envelope, in an album, in a jewelry box,
in a hot garage, in
a hot ass garage.
If you want to see something interesting, go to Original ATOG's YouTube, and he did a process where he was putting coins in different areas of the house and in different, like this one's in this drawer, and this one's going to be downstairs, and this one's going to be in the fridge, and would pull them out and try to distinguish the difference. And there was a few that were kind of different over the period of time. It's pretty interesting. And Michael Kittle's saying, and this makes sense too, seeing a big impact with the younger collectors in the coin hobby because kids don't use cash or coins, so less of them are getting into collecting because of that. If they're not exposed, which is one reason why, we try to...
there's a lot of what ifs, and I think it would be short-sighted to believe that any of it's going to happen anytime soon. Like Eunice Torres said, what if the government goes to digital currency, right? I mean,
right.
We can't stop that from happening. It's going to be a foregone conclusion that along with cryptocurrency, that we are going to go into a digital, physical, cashless society. That is going to happen. Whether it happens in my lifetime or the next, it really, you know, it depends. But at the same token, when we look at the precious metals market, when we look at the stock market, you know, they're still going to be actively traded regardless if it's physical cash on the table or digital currency. A lot of it is done digitally anyways. But when it comes to people and their love affair for stacking silver and gold, that is still going to happen even in a digital society. And guess what? There is a pretty strong tie between that and the coin market as well. So, you know, it's not going to be this gradual change where, you know, coins are going to go the way of the stamps. You know, stamps, they were doomed to fail, I guess. But yeah, I don't see it happening as quickly as some might envision or want to. You know, I don't know. That's my 2 cents about it. Sorry, my 2 digital cents.
Digital sense.
Yeah.
That's funny. And you think that numismatics is a weird word. What about philately or whatever it's called?
Philatelist?
Philatelist?
Yeah. Validity? No.
All right.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Phytology, that's right. I always see that word. I'm like, really? I first saw it in here. The classification and value of errors on the link consent. So this book, Paula gave it to me. It's one of the best gifts I've ever received. But they meticulously document digest on link consents and everything else, like buyers and connectors and arsons and everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Those are the encased stamp coins from back in the 1800s, right?
No, these are just the Lincoln cents. Yeah, but it was interesting because Gene Cohen referred to it as phytology, so I hadn't realized that was what we were doing.
Yeah, I am going to say this only because it's like very vivid in my mind. That the only good memory I have of postage stamps is when they re-released the inverted Jenny design. When was that? Like in 2006 or something like that. And they had made a couple of the right side up Jennies, and they added it to a few of the sheets. Apparently, the things are worth tens of thousands of dollars. You know,
really?
Even today, yeah, those rare variants. I think they only made a couple of them, but I don't know. I found it interesting. You know, that was even a thing.
What's up, Silverman?
I do have quite a few stamps. I just never get the time to go through them. For some reason, I just like the feel of a coin more.
I bought a grab bag of stamps that were like cut out of like letters and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought them. I don't know if you guys know. It's the East Coast store at a mall called Boscov's. It's like in the northeast region of the U.S. Yeah, and they had a whole bunch of these like bags, and they were like red in color. It was like, you never know what you're gonna find in there. And it was like $4.99, and I was like, I bought one and I got suckered. I was like, damn. that was arcade money because I was like 13 years old at the time. I was like, $5 in quarters at the arcade would have lasted me like 2 hours.
For sure. Kendall's asking, Sean, do you know anything about missing copper on pennies exposing zinc?
Yeah, I've owned a few. Yeah, missing copper layer. Yeah, that's a thing. Now, like Black Beauty nickels, they're much more meaningful on mint state coins. If you handed me one that looks like it's been around the block a few dozen times, that I'm probably going to call BS on that, because there is a way to strip the copper off of that to give it the false appearance of one that was done in error. As far as the plating.
Do you know how much they're worth?
Not a lot. $5 maybe.
Not a ton.
No. They're not like missing clad layer on a copper nickel clad, like a quarter or a dime or a $50 for that matter.
Oh, one thing I did want to bring up on the cashless thing is that if you guys start looking at, over 4.5% of those in the United States don't even have a bank account. So if they don't have a bank account, they're not going to be able to do very many transactions in electronic form either. They're likely not going to. And then if you look at the rest of the world that depends on the dollar, you start looking at those as well. It's like, wow, it really would be a tough transition for a large portion of the world.
Yeah, quite a few people still without a bank account out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an hour and a half. I think we're done with our time just about. And I don't see any additional questions coming in. So is it time to say goodnight?
Shannon, pull this up.
Oh, what have you got?
Hold on a second. Ooh. This was one of my eBay cherry picks. Nice 41.
Yeah, in COD we trust.
Ah!
I like it already.
You're right. Is there an L on the rim?
No, but there's this.
Spitting Eagle? Oh, look at that doubling. Double beak.
Double beak.
Huh.
Nice.
FS, I think, is at 801.
I think so.
801, yeah. 801.
Very nice.
It's funny that's the only doubling on there. Yeah, there's another
cool?
date. There's another date with a doubled beak as well on the Washington
I think
quarter.
it's 1950.
50, yep.
50 has one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, time to end it then.
Always fun, y'all. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for the 83 people still hanging out.
Right?
Good gravy. Yes, thank you so much. And come back next week. Hopefully we'll have some extra coins. I know we've got some that we're preparing to show you guys, but we will make sure we have a full collection for you. But
yeah, I think Paula is out for what? Yeah, a few weeks.
She's probably going to be out for a few weeks while she's getting over. So again, everybody send your prayers. She'll be fine, but can't ever hurt. So anyway, come back next week and we will see you guys later.
Peace out.